Welcome back. Hunts Point Forward is an opportunity for the Hunts Point community to work together in order to create a path to improve the quality of life for the entire community. Joining us now to share more are Tara Duvivier, Senior Planner at Pratt Center for Community Development, and Paloma Izquierdo-Hernandez, President and CEO of Urban Health Plan. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So first to start, for those who are not familiar, can you please tell us about Hunts Point Forward and your mission?
All right. So Hunts Point Forward is really a community planning process specifically for the Hunts Point Peninsula. We know that there have been quite a few plans that have happened in the area, and Paloma could definitely speak more to this, but it's really just an opportunity, especially given everything that's happened over the past year, especially to really think about what are the most critical issues and critical concerns that the community has, and how we can come together, so like it's been done in the past, or what like similar plans in the past have taken place that have allowed people to provide community input and come up with another updated vision for the future. I definitely think I would like to defer to Paloma on this one as far as just explaining really how Hunts Point Forward came around, but that's really the aim, is really for us to facilitate a community planning project.
Paloma, yes, if you can share.
Sure. So Hunts Point Forward was a result of the Hunts Point Longwood Community Coalition, which was formed back in 2017, really with a goal of trying to maximize the resources that we have in Hunts Point. Myself and Aide Morales, the executive director of Casita Maria, came together, and we realized that we really needed a group within Hunts Point that we could pull together all the big CBOs and kind of come up with a vision and a work plan on how we could maximize our resources, advocate for each other, and really try to impact the health of the community. And as a result, we started seeing many projects happening in Hunts Point. And so we figured, if we didn't proactively go in and try to create a vision for what we wanted to happen in Hunts Point, all these projects were going to happen around us. And we were one day going to wake up and say, what happened? Why didn't we have input here? Mm-hmm. So that was the impetus where we went then to Council Member Salamanca, and we asked for his support. And together with him and the EDC, Hunts Point Forward came to life. And so opportunity for all the community to really come together around all of the projects that are existing, review what has happened in the past, and really set a path for moving forward in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing. And as you shared, you do have a vision plan. Hunts Point Forward has a vision plan. What are some of those projects and this plan helped bring to fruition in the community so far?
Right. So the vision plan is actually from 2004. So as Paloma mentioned, EDC, which is the New York City Economic Development Corporation, they took on this vision plan in 2004, where they got stakeholders, local businesses, community groups together to come up with ideas and recommendations for projects to be implemented in the area. Some of the ideas that came forth and that were implemented, more open space. So Hunts Point Landing is one thing that resulted from the plan. There were areas that were specifically within residential areas that had a lot of truck traffic. So diverting truck traffic away from the residential areas within Hunts Point, as well as some environmental remediation of some of the sites in the food distribution center, which is also managed and controlled by EDC. So those are some of the things that came out of 2004. So there were some things that came out of that plan, and it was really more of okay, we did that in 2004. That's more than 15 years ago. It's time to think about the next 15, 20 years for Hunts Point, and how can not only the community-based organizations like the Hunts Point Longwood Community Coalition or members can work with the city to implement another vision, a new vision, and address some of the long-standing concerns as well as new issues that exist in the community.
I could just add, there are things that were starting to happen, like the Metro North project. We've heard talks about the closing of the barge, the renovation of the Spofford property. So there were other projects that were happening, and we just felt that it was time to relook at the vision plan, see what had been accomplished, take these new things that are happening and kind of integrate them, and then bring in the community so that we could create a new vision for Hunts Point.
Right. Thank you for that. And, speaking of that, flash forward all the way from 2004 to 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit the Bronx and has affected Hunts Point in particular, and many of our areas in the Bronx. How has the pandemic impacted the Hunts Point community specifically, and how will this plan or this planning help identify what those key issues or key sectors are in Hunts Point forward?
The pandemic has really hit Hunts Point hard, being an area of great poverty and great need. Those are the areas that got hit, right? And so all the disparities that existed were just highlighted. And so here we are with greater health disparities. Food insecurity. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with housing once the eviction restrictions are lifted. There's just so many social impacts that affect people's lives. And when you really look at them, they're all based on how policies have been implemented and structured in areas like Hunts Point. So I think this gives us the opportunity almost to start afresh and kind of say, if we could envision what this might look like, what might it be? And hopefully it doesn't deal with only specifics, but also deals with policies that need to be changed, because I think that's fundamentally where our troubles begin, is with policies that have been in place for many years.
Absolutely. And many times when those policies are shaped, as we kind of mentioned in the beginning, those doors are closed to the community. People aren't part of the planning process when things start happening in our community and changing. So can you emphasize the importance of having community input in this planning process?
You want to take that?
Oh, I mean, yes, as an organization that we work with a lot of community groups, I mean, it's key. It's really, we can't do our work effectively without getting community input. And I know that, especially, I think most cities, but especially New York City, there's just been a long history of the sentiment from the community feeling like there's a lack of transparency. And that, as Paloma mentioned, that things just kind of happen and you wake up and you're like, when did this happen? Nobody consulted us. It doesn't make sense. And it's really ultimately a waste of resources to bring something to the community that they don't want. I mean, what we, as Pratt Center, as us, as an organization that works with different community groups, it's really important for us to not only make sure that we have these ties with the community groups, because they also see what's happening on the ground, they're doing the work, but also the people that they're working with, and even outside of that, like who are in the community that aren't accessing certain resources. What are the challenges? How do we get there? So we can change policy, so we can introduce new policy, new recommendations that will benefit most of the community, more of the community than now. So it's for us, especially given the pandemic and given the challenges of trying to communicate with people, since we can't really knock on doors and be in person. It's really important for us now more than ever to try as all of the avenues to try to get as many community members involved in this process as possible.
And speaking of which, let's say if somebody's listening now and they're liking what they hear, they want to join. Are there any qualifications to sign up and be part of this initiative?
No, I mean, apart from loving Hunts Point, I mean, we understand obviously that people live within Hunts Point, so we want to hear from the residents, but we also know that people work in Hunts Point and have businesses in Hunts Point, so you want to hear from those people as well. If you have any type of stake in Hunts Point, whether it be you just love the neighborhood and they don't live there or work there, and you just want to see better for it, but we definitely want to hear from anyone who lives, works, goes to school there, travels there for whatever reason. If you have historical ties, any type of information, and just a love for Hunts Point, I think for me is the main qualification. But we definitely understand it's not just the folks that live here that are impacted by all of these things that are happening.
And you do have an ongoing survey right now. Can you provide more information and the link of where people can participate in the survey?
Sure. So we have a web, again, it's not the most ideal since we're not able to meet in person, but we have been trying to utilize as much as possible the online resources just in order because it's there if people can access it. We have our website, which is huntspoint.nyc/HPF. We also have the site available in Spanish if you'd like to share it. On that website, if you go to the community feedback section, there is a link to a survey. We're just asking questions as far as like, what are people's main concerns and priorities as far as living in Hunts Point, traveling around Hunts Point, things that they think would make it better. We also ask just some open-ended questions. If you don't feel like filling out a survey, there is also in that community feedback section, you can fill out a map. There's a map where you can, if there's a certain area you'd like to see a trash can, or if you'd like, hey, can we have a new park at this site, you can actually leave us a comment and let us know that. If you just want to leave a general comment or a general question, you can email us as well as fill out another, there's a feedback form. So any avenue. So we know some people don't like to do surveys, but they're fine with sending a quick email. We would love that. We also are on Instagram and Twitter at Hunts Point NYC, so you can reach out to us there. I also wanted to note that these sites, or all of the social media, as well as the website huntspoint.nyc, those are run and managed by the Point. So this is not a new process. This is not a new project in terms of these websites and these social media outlets existing. These are resources that people can access not only for this project, but there's also other events and resources that are promoted on those channels. So definitely bookmark all three of them. They are going to exist after we finish this project, but it also is just a great place to access information related to Hunts Point.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tara, Paloma, for your time today. And Paloma, before you go, just the importance of, you joining as a group worker as well, but you're a CEO and the president of Urban Health Plan. It's been around for decades in our borough and has helped so many people. Just about the importance of joining this initiative in your position as well.
It's critically important. I think as whether you're a resident, whether you're a business, whether you're a not-for-profit, our voices have to be heard, because if our voices aren't heard, then the things happen around us that we have no control over. So I'm really thankful that we're a part of it. I'm glad we were able to initiate this, and I'm really looking forward to what this results in. I think it'll be really cool for the community and hopefully take us for the next 10 years or so. So I'm really happy about this. And I just I'm a health provider, so I just have to say, please get vaccinated. Everybody out there, we need you to get vaccinated. And there is no reason why our communities, again, will have a disparity around vaccination rates. None whatsoever. The vaccine is safe. It's great for everybody to have. And the only way we're going to get back to a normal place where we could fill out these surveys in person and have focus groups in person is to be vaccinated. So thank you.
Thank you, Paloma and Tara, for joining us today and sharing more about Hunts Point Forward.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. That's all for our show today. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.